Kit, I know how disappointed you were on Wednesday morning after Tuesday night's performance at Molineux. Can you put your finger on what happened, what went wrong, and what you're going to do to rectify that?
Well, it wasn't so much the performance as the result was obviously what really annoyed me, and conceding the 3 goals the way we did, because a lot of the performance was quite good. You know, we had a lot of chances for large spells of the game, defended very well, but you know, goals win and change games of football, and it's what we do in both penalty boxes. You know, an obvious fact, but the truth of it, what we need to brush up on. You know, we had a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances, but I honestly felt we could have played all night and not scored on Tuesday. And like I say, we had a lot of opportunities and good chances. And then, you know, to concede 3 poor goals like we did. You know, the first goal was from their first sort of attack forward. They get a corner and score direct from the corner. You know, which is really, really disappointing. And then for the rest of the first half, I think we played quite well. Really good chances. Ross has a gilt-edged chance. You know, a blatant handball penalty that's not given. And you're thinking, okay, we're on the front foot, that's all right, and then suddenly concede 2 goals last couple of minutes of the first half. It's not acceptable, and it's driving me mad, and I'm sure it's driving our supporters mad as well. But you know, we need to address it.
It happened again at home against Ipswich, conceding so close to half time when actually that margin was very fine. What are you doing to rectify that? How can you how are you approaching training sessions now with that kind of conceding goals being such an issue?
Well, we've always, like I say, looked at the set pieces and talked about them and done some work on them on a Friday. But we've looked at it a bit differently now for this week and done some more. I mean, you know, a lot of it is quite often we're conceding a height advantage to teams. It's as simple as that. You know, so but we still need to compete and not let people get free headers. You know, like the Ipswich one was disappointing. So you know, Murphy gets his head just in front of Ryan Tunnicliffe, who makes contact with him and ends up breaking his nose in the collision, and then the ball goes in off Costas, who's on the line. So it's, you know, it's disappointing, and we need to do better. And like I say, what we need, by doing a bit better, I think we'll then get that bit of luck that goes with it, which we also need. You know, I think there's no getting away from that. But you know, I'm a big believer you do make your own luck by doing the right things.
A quick one on the height. You talked about the obviously sometimes that's an issue, but you have somebody on the bench that's 6 foot, over 6 foot. What's the thought processing? Is it consistency that you're aiming for with that back four? And
yeah, it is. But I mean, what you want, you know, Dan's obviously was playing quite regularly, and what Dan gives us in that height department, defending set pieces, maybe, you know, other players give us on the ground down the sides, and you're playing. You know, championship football, there's an aerial threat, but then teams will play balls over the top and look to get in behind you and down the sides of your back four as well. So it's getting that balance right. You know, I mean, what you want is the perfect player who's a good size and very quick and mobile as well. You know, but most of them are playing in the Premier League or in the top teams in the Championship at the moment.
So in terms of tomorrow, a nice easy game against Derby County, who came to Craven Cottage not so long ago and we had a fantastic first half against them and then let ourselves down in the second half. What will you do tomorrow to give that confidence that's obviously lacking with the squad at the moment?
You know, you can't give people confidence, unfortunately. If you could do, you know, I'd be giving it to our players on a daily basis. But unfortunately, you can't just give them confidence. You can't give anyone confidence. But you can work on the right things. You can keep saying the positive messages, reinforcing it. And sometimes you need to give people a bit of a kick up the backside as well. So I think it's a combination of all of those things. You know, we're in a bit of a sticky situation without a doubt, but I don't want people who are going to feel sorry for themselves. I want people who are going to roll their sleeves up and fight and scrap and do that side of it. Be brave in that way, but also be brave and still want the ball in the right areas. You know, we've got to play football with the personnel we've got. And we can do that very, very well, but it's mixing it up and it's being tough and resolute in our box and defensive third, and it's being that little bit more clinical and ruthless in the attacking box, you know. And we're capable of doing it, but there's no point being capable if you're not actually going to get out there and do it, and that's what we need to do.
And there's still an opportunity to bring in additional personnel with the emergency loan window structure. Is that something that you're working actively on doing?
Yeah, and again, we say it every week, we're constantly looking, we have a meeting after meeting, and there's big lists of players and going through them sort of one by one, and you know, it's not easy to do by any stretch. There's a lot of players who I'd like to get in, for sure, but you know, you make an inquiry to their club, not available. You know, so there's not too much you can do in those situations. So it is tricky, but yeah, definitely, I'd if I can get in players who we feel can help us now in the short term or longer term and be better than what we've got, all day long, of course I would.
And Matt Smith, would that be an option to bring?
Matt's definitely an option. Yeah, his last game is on Saturday. He's obviously scored a lot of goals early part of his loan spell at Bristol City. Did very, very well, and he'll be back in contention then, back in the fold for Watford.
Tough period, but we're all behind you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.